Hi everyone, and welcome back to the next diecast. For today's video, I'll be showing you and reviewing this 1/18 scale Maisto Mercedes GLK 350. So this is a very nice model from Maisto. It's no longer being made. They introduced this model kind of quietly in the winter of 2014, I believe around January or so. And I ended up buying it off of Amazon shortly after that in February of that year. And it was sold in their Premier Edition line. I believe the last time it was in their catalog was 2019. It was not in their catalog for 2020. It may have even been 2018 when it was last in their catalog. But it wasn't made for very long, and that's kind of a shame actually, because there's some very, very good detailing on this model for the $30 to $40 price range that you used to be able to find it at. Now you can still find this model online, of course, but because it's been discontinued, you're likely to find it on sites such as eBay and whatnot. And I'd say maybe paying up to $40 for this model makes it well worth it, because it does have a lot of detailing that you would see on some upper end models, such as Welly. Without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the detailing of the model. We'll start up here with the front. Maisto did a great job overall with the headlights. You can see they do kind of a little bit of an LED pattern around the perimeter here. And there's also a bulb you can see in the back there. And the inside of the lenses are done in black. I guess maybe that's the body of the car underneath there. I don't know if on the real car it's like the metal body or if it's like the plastic inside of the light. But either way, it looks really good on both the model and on the real car. The center grille here looks good overall. It's made up of two pieces, so there's this full chrome piece here that it actually has a three-dimensional Mercedes-Benz badge in it, so that looks really cool. And there's actually a piece of black mesh behind it. Well, it's not actual mesh, it's not perforated, it's just kind of a textured mesh. It looks slightly cheap, but you really can't tell that it's not perforated unless you look right at it, like I am here. And same goes for the lower grille here. And everything is nice and like nothing's loose or anything. You might get like a loose headlight here and there on some Maistos, but on this one, everything is perfectly applied to the model. And there's no big gaps or anything like that, which is nice to see. The chrome down here looks nice overall, although in the back, I'll show you later, there's been a little bit of fading. So just be careful when touching this lower lip here. And these lower, I guess their turn signals look very good as well. They're actually on separate pieces from the car. So the paint quality on this model overall is very, very well done. Pardon a little bit of dust on there. But this black is actually a metallic black, and the same goes for the red version that this model came in. So this model came in black with this beige interior that you see here. And I think it looks really, really nice in that color combo. And it also came in a light metallic red with a black interior. And I think both colors look really good on the GLK class. So we'll take a look at the side since I'm already on the side here. Maisto did, I guess, an okay job with these silver stripes down the side of the car. I should say trim, not stripes. I'm not sure if on the real GLK they're supposed to be chrome or silver, but at least Maisto put them on there to begin with. I like it. It's kind of a nice like accent piece, especially on the black version of the model. The wheels on this model look very nice overall. These were, of course, offered on the real GLK as a choice of rims. They do a nice job with the brake disc and caliper. Of course, the brake disc doesn't spin with the wheel or anything like that. And of course, you get full suspension. Actually, very good suspension too. It really, goes up and down well. And full steering as well. So you can display the model like this with, the wheels turned and whatnot. Maisto did a good job with that. So the side mirrors, they're actually plastic pieces, but you can't really tell because they actually do a nice job with painting them like the same metallic black that the rest of the car is painted. I do like these silver accent lines. I don't know if there's supposed to be like lights or reflectors, but they look good. And the mirrors are very sturdy as well, despite being a part of the plastic window frame. They're not going to fall off or anything like that, so that's reassuring. Taking a look at the back of the model, Maisto, I'd say, did a good job with the tail lights here. There is a peg, but what they do is they actually tuck the peg in like the very, very back corner. So unless you're looking right at the side like that, you can't tell that it's being held in place by that peg. And you can see there's some kind of texturing on the inside of the tail light, and actually a little bit on the outside too, so that looks very nice. And like the headlights, there's no big gap or anything like that around the perimeter. These lower lights are painted on red, but they don't look too bad or anything. Sometimes there's a bit of like overspray with these painted on lights, but on this one, they're nicely done. And you can see with the badging back here, you have the Mercedes-Benz badge, the GLK 350, and the 4MATIC badges. They're nicely painted on in silver. They're not raised up or anything like that, but they do look proportionate to one another. And that's an issue you might see on models sometimes. They'll have like the badge on the right might be too big, or the badge on the left might be too small. But these are all the proper size and everything like that. So that's nice to see. I like how Maisto painted this silver, I don't know what you call that, like this bumper guard or bumper lip up there. It's a nice kind of accent on the car, kind of like the silver side trim pieces are. I think they did a nice job with that. But the lower lip here, you can see some of the chrome's already fading off, and the exhaust pipes, they're not really painted or anything. They're just done in like a chrome, so they do look a bit cheap. But it's very low on the car, so when you have the car on display like this, you can't even really see the exhaust pipes to begin with. So if they even did put detailing there, it would be very hard to say, because the way that the exhaust pipes kind of point downward just a little bit. So in terms of opening features, now this model will come with a door opening tool. I don't have the one that came with the model right now, but I do have this one that came with my Welly BMW 5 Series. So we'll go ahead and open up trunk back here first. We'll open that up like so. Not really too much to see in there. Maisto did do a nice kind of rough texture, so it kind of feels like it's like the carpeting that you would see on the real car. And you can see that there is a liner underneath the hatch, and also on the sides back here. They're like a separate piece and everything like that, so that's nice to see. This does open up on dog-like hinges, so don't open it up too often, or the hinges might weaken, and then it'll just kind of fall down when it's open. But I haven't had that issue as of yet. All right, next we'll take a look at the engine of the model. This hood doesn't really stay open anymore, so I'll have to hold it up as I talk about it. The engine looks okay overall. It is just kind of like one plastic piece, as you can see here. There is a Mercedes-Benz badge on the main block and a V6 back here. And there's some, texturing and coloring throughout. It could use a little bit of more detailing, but at least the piece that's in here, it's not loose or anything like that, or crooked. Some Maisto engine pieces, they're loose or crooked, but on this one, it's perfectly aligned on there. Speaking of perfect, it looks like the hood's actually holding itself up now. The underside of the hood, there is a plastic liner, as you can see. It isn't just bare like metal underspray or anything like that. So that's a nice touch. All right, so next we'll take a look at the interior of the model. And as you can see, this is one of few Maisto models that not only has all 4 opening doors, but they also have side windows on all 4 doors as well. And this kind of makes this model one of Maisto's best models that they've made. Even compared to their CLS class model, which has 4 opening doors and everything like that. That one does not have side windows, but this one does. So I'd say that this GLK definitely one-ups that model, at least, just for having that kind of detailing and features and whatnot. But this is very like, Norev and Welly-like of Maisto to be doing that. Granted that the openings on the doors aren't that wide, as you can see here. At least they open to begin with, and they have the side windows. It makes the model look so much more like realistic, especially from a distance and everything too. So that's, I guess, my reasoning for why this is probably one of Maisto's best models that they've made. So let's take a look at the detailing since we have all the doors open here. We'll start with the door panels actually first. So on all 4 doors, Maisto does a really good job with the wood grain that surrounds the door handles, and also with the texture on the door panels as well. It has kind of a nice like leather pattern on it, which is nice to see. And the windows, they're nice and sturdy. They're not loose or anything like that. They are very thin though, so if there is force applied, they might crack or break, so just be very careful with that. And use a door opener tool when you're opening the doors. You can actually fit your fingernail inside the handles, but it's just easier to do it with the door opening tool. And again, this one didn't come with the model. Maisto gives you one that's like clear if you get the model new. I don't know where mine is, so I just use the Welly one for the time being. And there's actually more detailing on the front door panels, because you see there's some buttons surrounding the wood grain with the handles and everything like that. They do a very, very nice job with that, and also with the 2-tone patterning on the leather throughout the interior. It's kind of a darker like beige, and there's a light like kind of sand color too. They did a nice job with that overall. And of course, you get the Mercedes-Benz inscriptions on the door sills. They're stickers, of course, but they're nice they're nicely applied. They're not crooked or anything like that. I mean, of course, you could always just peel them up and re-stick them on, but that's just one less thing to do because they're nicely done. So usually I don't do this, but now that the door is actually open on this model, we can take a look at the back seat first. So again, there's some nice leather texture on the seat, just like the door panels. Maisto does put in 3 seat belts in the back, as you can see here. There is a little bit of detailing with that back console here. There's no buttons or anything like that, but they do a nice job with the vent pattern on there. And the top part's kind of that same dark tan, and the bottom part's like a light beige. And there's actually pockets on the back seats, which looks nice too. Or on the back of the front seats, I should say. And there's a seat belt poking out back there. The seat belts do look a bit cheap, but at least they're there to begin with. And you could always maybe color in the buckle silver so it looks more convincing. So here's a better look at the seats of the model. You can see it has a nice kind of leather texture and pattern on them. If you run your finger along it, it does feel like it's made of leather. Well, it is hard plastic, of course, but it has a nice texture to it. They do a nice job with the shapes of the seats overall, too. And you can see that the seatbelt buckles, they're painted red. Or the seatbelt receivers are painted red. Maisto also does an excellent job with detailing the dashboard and the center console of this model. You can see that the wood grain pattern looks very, very convincing. It even has kind of the same shine that you would see on the wood grain of the real GLK class. The vents are very well done as well. They have kind of like a 3D look to them, and they have the silver painted around them. Of course, the top of the dash has that leather pattern, just like you see on the door panels and everything like that. And the center storage door is actually done in a wood grain as well. Very, very nice job. And of course, you get the same rough texture on the flooring as you do in the trunk liner. It looks awesome. On the center console, you can see, or on the center stack, I should say, all the buttons are separately painted. They're all on there, and they're all painted very well. And the GPS screen is also turned on, as you can see. It has some kind of map on it, but you can't really see in this lighting here. They also do a nice job with the rear view mirror, and there's actually some buttons and the sun visors around it too. They really did a nice job with detailing on this model overall. It's like one of their best models, I would say, for sure. And of course, with the steering wheel, you get some amazing detailing on there as well, with the painted on badge in the center. And also the little buttons on the sides are painted too. I see like little horn logos and everything like that. It just looks very nice overall. And there's actually some silver trim around the center. The steering wheel is a bit loose when you turn it. Well, you can't really see it now, but it's not a big deal. Nice job with the pedals as well. They're painted in silver to look like they're made of the aluminum that you would find on the real GLK. And the gauge cluster is actually a separate chrome piece that surrounds the lenses, or the gauges, I should say. That's very, very cool. Usually Maisto would just put in like one big sticker, but this one they actually add the extra detail of that silver chrome piece, and then put each gauge sticker inside of each of those chrome pieces. That's very nice. That's a very good attention to detailing there. Go ahead and close up these doors. They do open on spring-loaded hinges, I forgot to mention, so they are a bit hard to open and close, but when they are closed, there's no big gaps or anything like that. Okay, so underneath, there's not really too much to see aside from the chrome exhaust pipes that you can see there. So if you can find this model for a fair price, I would say definitely get it. It would look good if you collect like Mercedes Benzes or SUVs or just, modern cars in general. It looks very, very nice. There are other models of the GLK out there. I think Welly makes one, but theirs is like $80-something. But theirs is still being made, so there is that advantage over this one. But even though this has been discontinued, you can definitely find it for less than the Welly FX model version. And overall, I'd say it's one of their best models. Absolutely. As always, thanks so much for watching, and feel free to comment down below with your thoughts on this model and what you think of it and everything like that. Thanks for watching.